Yo, it's Petrowski here, and here's another post commentary or analysis video for a Pokemon game. This is actually the third time I've tried to record this video because I keep leaving my mic muted whenever I go to record it, which is so insane. I've done that twice now. We're trying to record this for a couple hours, but there's been like stuff going on. Anyways, into the game. There's a lot I want to talk about with this game. There's also a lot of dead time, so I can kind of take my time doing it. Something I want to preface is I was paying so little attention to this game early on. Early on, I was getting messages on Discord all of a sudden, and like checking Discord DMs and pings and servers, and like there was a lot of stuff going on. So I'm like kind of halfway paying attention. But I do see Zoroark on his team, and I do lead Claydol, thinking about the Zoroark. And I'm like, okay, if I lead Claydol, I know Zoroark hits me for about 90% usually. I should be able to Trick Room up and then Light Screen and then die and still have Trick Room plus 4 turns of Trick Room and then Light Screen up. But then as soon as I like play the game, this happens a lot where I'll plan for the Zoroark, and then as soon as I start playing the game, I just forget about the Zoroark. So I'm just like, I planned for Zoroark here, but then I played as if I was playing against a Claydol because that's what my eyes saw, which is so funny and so silly, and very much is due to me just like being not attentive to this game. I was just distracted on the side. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I throw up a Light Screen. This Claydol's dead. I'm happy to sacrifice this, so I just go for a Trick Room here, just in case. And I'm checking the chat because I'm like, huh, can Claydol learn Night Days? I didn't know that. I was like just expecting like an Ice Beam or something because I just assumed this was a Claydol. And even at this point, I'm just too distracted to where I see this Claydol use Nasty Plot. So at this point, I'm like, oh, sick, I got my Trick Room off. Like, he used Nasty Plot. I'm too busy focused on like the happiness aspect of like, man, I got lucky, I got my Trick Room off. Meanwhile, this dude is like using moves that are clearly showing me he's Zoroark, but I'm just still too distracted. So I'm like, okay. I also should have reflected there. That was just a misplay, no matter whether it's Claydol or Zoroark. I should have just reflected there, but once again, I'm just kind of going through the brainless motions of screen up, Trick Room, teleport out. So I think around here is where you see me check the chat, because I'm like, what do I swap into? I'm looking at his team, I'm looking at my team, like, what do I swap into? I'm thinking Azumarill or Rampardos, and then I look up, you see me scroll up in chat, and I'm like, wait a minute, this dude's used Focus Blast, Nasty Plot, and Night Days, and I'm like, this is so obviously Zoroark. I'm like finally noticing it, and I'm just like, holy, what the heck? How did that happen? That's so crazy. Like that I'm like, and now I'm like, okay, I gotta stop inting. Time to focus up, but in a sec because here's another Discord DM. So I go check that DM, and I just bring in Rampardos, and I'm like, Rampardos can do really good against this team. It can EQ here and hit everything with Mold Breaker because even if he does swap to like actual Claydol, it'll disable its Levitate. The only thing this doesn't do that much damage to is Slowbro, which he of course swaps into because it's a very good swap, which I literally just like didn't see on his team thing because I'm just so distracted at this point. It seems like a funny excuse, but like truly, I was just like answering the Discord DM the whole time, and then he scalds me, and This is, to be fair, this crit was quite unlucky, but I deserved it. I've been misplaying this entire game. I have misplayed for 2 Pokemon entirely at this point. I'm down 2 Pokemon, and I've gotten absolutely nothing because all I've done is misplay this entire game. So at this point, I'm just like, okay, I'm literally just throwing this game. Like, I see that I was checking to win Trick Room, how much Trick Room time I had left. I was like, okay, I have like 1 more turn of Trick Room left. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I am facing Slowbro. This is a pretty good spot for me to bring in Azumarill, because my Azumarill is careful, so it can tank hits from Slowbro really easily. So I bring my Azumarill, and my plan is to just Belly Drum, tank a hit super easily. If he insta swaps, it's harder for me. But if I just Belly Drum and he attacks me, like, so he goes Psychic, it does very little damage. I Belly Drum, proc my Heal Berry. You put up to 102 HP, and then at this point, I knew that Trick Room was wearing off after this turn. I did at least pay enough attention to like scroll up in chat. So Trick Room wears off. I'm like, okay, I can return in this hopefully one-shot Slowbro. I don't know if this is close at all. I know a lot of Slowbros will go like bold and like train in defenses, EVs and defenses, but thankfully I one-shot the Slowbro. And then at this point I'm in a really good spot, aren't I? I'm kind of like surprised by that because I'm just like, I've played this game so poorly I don't deserve to be in this position. And then he swaps this in, and I'm like, okay, this is either Claydol or Zoroark. Obviously, I go and check the base stat speed for Claydol because Trick Room's out. There's no Trick Room. Claydol's out. I checked and I realized Claydol has like 75 base stat speed. I'm pretty sure it's like much higher than you would think. So I'm like, okay, I have to Aqua Jet here. Is what my conclusion comes to. And whether it's Claydol or Zoroark, it should one-shot. But I just had to like do a lot of thinking and make sure of everything beforehand. But eventually you'll see me click Aqua Jet. And like at this point I'm just like, this is so dumb because I started this game just misplaying my entire first Pokemon. It's now a 4v6. And it's just looking so favorable. So he brings in Bouffalant. And I'm like, this is a really interesting call, actually. I know that I'm 50 base stat speed. I know that my Azumarill is EV'd 252 speed to outspeed, like, it's EV'd like that to outspeed 0 speed invested Venusaur. I'm pretty sure that outspeeds, if I remember correctly and if I calculated correctly. So I'm like, okay, I have to make this call because, so if this Bouffalant is weird, I know that Bouffalant doesn't go 252 speed, but if for some reason this Bouffalant goes 252 speed or is like 200 speed with speed nature, then I actually just die and lose to this Bouffalant. But I have to make that call, and I do make the right call there, but it's just like a scary factor of like, what if this correct call doesn't reward me here? That would be like really unfortunate. But I do make the right call. Because I don't know if Aqua Jet one-shots the Bouffalant. It has pretty high defense and HP, pretty bulky Pokemon. The Vileplume gets absolutely shredded. I know that the Vileplume is around 30 to 50 base stat speed, so I just can do that. Same with Escavalier. At this point, it's just like his entire team is just slower than my Azumarill with base stat speed and 2v2 invested. So this game just was so insane. I know his Claydol's faster than me. This game was so dumb, and it just is the biggest testament to how low skill and how uninteractive and how toxic Azumarill is for this tier. Mainly because NU Pokemon and PokeMMO are just like not tanky enough. They're not bulky enough to take a Belly Drum Aqua Jet. A Belly Drum Aqua Jet just one-shots most of the tier, or at least 2-hit KOs it, and enough to like where Azumarill can survive 1 hit and then 2-hit KO everything with priority, it's just so insane. I don't know how much longer this Pokemon will last in this tier. I've seen so much success with it, and I see it on a lot of teams. Very, very powerful Pokemon. We'll see more battles with it in the future. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.